disciple, the fourth in the series, and part 2.
咱知影多數命裏面，只有一個工作，只有一個同事 ，make disciples。
We know that in the Great Commission there is only one work and there is only one verb, and that is to make disciples.
所以教會咱需要 make disciples of Jesus。
So church, we need to make disciples of Jesus.
但係什麼是 disciples？
What is a disciple
聖經
though?
嘅 disciple 什麼款嘅人呢？
What kind of a person is the disciple as defined in the Bible?
因為聖經裏面有4關對 disciple 嘅記號。
We want to see 4 marks of the disciple in the Bible.
Number 1是以主在最主嘅人
Number 1 is a person who lets the Lord be the Lord of his life.
，we call lordship。
We say that this is the lordship.
以主在最咱嘅主，
Jesus is our Lord.
主人唔是你嘅主，伊就唔是一切，唔是一切嘅主就唔是你嘅主。
If Jesus is not Lord of your life, if not Lord of everything, he's not Lord at all.
Number 2，
Number
遵守
2,
上帝話語嘅人。
he is a person who obeys God's word.
耶穌講：你若聽我，就遵守我嘅命令。
And Jesus said, if you love me, you will obey my commands.
第三是 love one another。
Third is love one
耶
another.
穌講：你若俾咗沙聽，人就誇出 You are my disciple。
Jesus said, all men will know that you are my disciples if you love one another.
第4款
The
叫做
fourth
結果子 bear fruit。
is bearing fruit.
因為聖經成日你講，
For this is what the Bible
你若
says.
最結果子，我係被，因為按你呢度形容，你也就是我嘅門徒咯。
This is to my Father's glory that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples.
主嘅門徒是為主結果子嘅人
The， Lord's disciple is a person who bears fruit for the Lord.
你嘅果子證明你是主耶穌基督嘅門徒。
Your fruit proves that you are indeed the disciple of the Lord
因為耶穌
Jesus.
講一句真正重要嘅話，
Because Jesus said something very important.
接着呢嘅果子就連出以嚟咯。
By their fruit you will recognize them.
正如我所講，你今次唔知一是什麼樹，但係看到這個芒果，你知這是芒果嘅樹。
Perhaps you may not know what kind of a tree this is, but you look at the fruit and you know it's a mango, so it's mango tree.
可能你唔知這是什麼樹，你講到 apple，這是 apple tree。
Perhaps you may not know what kind of a tree this is, but you see the fruit on this tree is apple, so you know that this is an apple tree.
所以你嘅生命就見證你是什麼款嘅人。
So your life is going to testify to what kind of a person you are.
Last week，咱講到3款嘅果子，
Last week we spoke about 3 kinds of fruits.
咱需要結出悔改嘅果子，
We need to have a fruit of
咱
repentance.
需要結出福音嘅果
We
子，
need to bear fruit of the
咱需要
gospel.
結出福最吞嘅果子。
And we need to bear the fruit of lips.
今日嚟看第4款嘅果子，
Today let's take a look at the 4th kind of
叫做
fruit.
聖靈嘅果子。
And that is the fruit of the Holy
喺
Spirit.
加拉太書第5章22-23節，
In Galatians chapter 5 verses 22 to 23.
聖經你講。
This is what the Bible
聖靈
says.
所結嘅果子是憐愛、喜樂、和平、溫柔、吞忍、恩慈、良善、信實、溫柔、節制。
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
你嗱讀英文聖經嘅人
And if you are a person who reads the English Bible,
，but the fruit 即係 singular，
but the fruit, you see the word fruit is singular.
所以講聖靈果子是即個果子嚟啲啊。
So the fruit of the Spirit is only one single fruit.
但係即個果子有9款嘅味素，
But one single fruit has 9 flavors.
憐愛、喜樂、和平、溫柔、吞忍、恩慈、良善、信實、溫柔、節制。
Love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
所以有人講聖靈果子是9款味素嘅果子，
So some people say that the fruit of the Spirit is a 9-flavored fruit.
這是門徒生命成熟嘅記號。
This is the sign or the mark of a mature disciple.
你需要好人看到你生命中間有這9款嘅味素喺裏面。
You need to be able to show people that in your life there are these 9 flavors within.
Bear fruit，
Bearing
結出你嘅屬靈嘅生命嘅果子。
Bearing fruit, bearing your fruit of your
你
spiritual
嚟
life.
看憐愛 love，
Let's take a look at love.
聖靈果子頭一個味素叫做 love，L-O-V-E，
First-
憐愛。
First flavor of the fruit of the Spirit is love, L-O-V-E.
先講上帝是聽，
The Bible says God is love.
聽是上帝本質。
Love is God's nature.
主嘅門徒，主嘅客，主嘅咱嘅上帝家裏的確有聽喺裏面。
The Lord's disciples, God's children, we do have love within us.
但是咱唔再講，咱是聽，
Yet we cannot say that we are love.
咱即係講我有聽，
We can only say that I have love.
是聽。覺有聽是本質上完全嘅無相。
When you say is love or having love, these are fundamentally different.
Is love. God is love.
God is love.
甲上帝創每一項代志都是因為疼。
Whatever God does, He does it out of love.
無論咱感覺是好，無論是歹，上帝創每一項代志，的確是 because of love。
Whatever it is, whether it be good or bad, from our point of view, we know that whatever God does, He does it out of
但
love.
是咱會再講是我有疼，
But as for us, we can say that I have love.
但無嘟嘟代表我創每一項代志都是因為疼，
But that doesn't necessarily mean that whatever that I do emanates from love.
因為疼是一個選擇，
Because love is a choice.
你即係選擇疼，
You can choose to love
你係選擇無要疼，
and you can choose not to love.
結果完全係無相。
The result will be completely different.
咱是有疼，
We have love.
但是有時咱係選擇無要疼這個人。
Yet sometimes we may choose not to love a person.
So love is a choice。
So love is a choice.
咱做頭家嘅人，
As boss,
你即係選擇疼你嘅工人，
you can choose to love your
你
employees.
即係選擇無要疼伊。
You can choose not to love them.
你若選擇疼伊，
If you choose to love them,
你嘅工人知影我頭家真疼我。
your employees will realize that my boss loves me very much.
有人你嘅公司會慢慢完全嚟改變。
And then you will discover that your company's, the atmosphere is going to slowly be transformed.
你即係選擇疼你嘅太太，
You can choose to love your wife,
疼你嘅丈夫。
choose to love your
Yes，
husband.
你選擇無要疼伊，
You can also choose not to love
但
them,
係結果是完全嘅無
but the
相。
result will be completely different.
咱哋厝內裡面，
In the home,
老爸、老母，你要選擇疼你嘅囡仔，
father or mother, you can choose to love your children.
你絕對無要選擇疼伊。
You can choose not to love them
你
as
若
well.
選擇疼伊，
If you choose to love
你
them,
嘅囡仔若經驗到你嘅疼，
and if your children experience your
你嘅
love,
家庭嘅完全嚟改變。
then your home, your family will be
你
transformed.
若不選擇疼，
If you choose to love,
你是有可能嘅代志
then it is possible
，because 咱有疼。
because we have love.
我學你兩個真正重要嘅 principle。
Let me give you two very important
你若選
principles.
擇疼，
If you choose love,
乜就有疼呢
how do you love them?
？Number one，
Number one,
你學習大聲講出你嘅疼。
you must learn to verbally express your love.
Number two，
Number two,
大膽表達你嘅疼。
courageously express your love.
這什麼意思呢
What is the meaning of this?
？Verbally express your love，
Verbally express your love.
將你嘅疼講出去。
You must learn to verbalize your love.
咱比較將疼放喺心內，未講出去。
It's much easier for us to hide or keep the love within our hearts and we
Michelle-
don't verbalize it.
勇敢 verbally express your love。
But you need to learn to courageously express your love
及你
verbally.
所聽嘅人講，我疼你。
Tell the person that you love that I love you.
Why？
Why?
有四個原因。
For reasons.
Reason number one，
Reason number one,
這是你愛講嘅話。
for this is what you want to say.
Yes or no？
Yes or no?
你愛甲人講，但是講唔出來啦啲啊。
You want to tell the person that I love you, but you just aren't able to verbalize
Number
it.
two，
Number two,
這是你愛聽到家己講出去，
this is what you want to hear yourself
你
say.
真愛講，
You really want to
但是
say
唔
it,
知道我唔敢講，講唔出去。
but you just struggle in saying it.
這是你愛別人，你知這是別人愛聽到嘅話。
For this is what you know that the other person wants to hear.
你知影你嘅太太愛聽到一句話，
You know that your wife wants
你
to
知
hear
影你嘅
this.
囡仔聽到一句話。
You know that your children wants to hear these words.
第四，
Fourth,
這是你愛聽到別人及你講嘅話。
this is what you want to hear others say to you.
所以其實簡單嚟講，就是咱愛聽到別人及我講，別人愛聽到我及你講。
So simply put, we want others to hear. We know that others want to hear us say it, and we also want to hear others say it to us.
因為這個世界
For in this world,
聽真欠，
love is very much lacking.
你隔壁人是你嘅丈夫，是你嘅太太，
If the person seated beside you is your wife or your
是
husband
你嘅囡仔，
or your
是
children
你嘅父母，
or your parents
啊是你所聽嘅人，
or a person that you love,
你甲佢講 I love you。
tell the person I love you.
你若唔畢業，你若無愛講，唔免講唔要緊。
If you don't know the person and you don't want to say it, it's okay.
你甲佢講 I love you。
Well, tell the person now.
特
I
別你
love
嘅
you.
丈夫、你嘅太太講 I love you，
Especially if it's your husband or your wife.
你真愛聽到一句話
He or she would love to hear these words.
，verbally express your love。
Verbally express your love.
Number two，
Number two,
勇敢嘅表達出嚟，
courageously express your love.
唔單是有 verbally，
Not only do you verbalize it,
用行動用真濟辦法將你嘅聽 啲外交表達出去。
but you use actions and many other methods to express your love on the outside.
Dr. Paul Brown 是一個世界真正有名，伊啲麻風病人嘅醫生。
Dr. Paul Brand is a very famous, world-famous doctor specializing in leprosy.
一擺伊哋印度醫一個麻風嘅病人，
One time he was in India and he was treating a leper
因為伊未曉講印度嘅話，
because he didn't know how to speak the Indian language.
所以請一個 translator。
So he had to have a translator
喺
with
這
him.
個醫療家庭嘅中間，
In the process of the treatment,
伊 explain 好這個 patient 就創什麼第二，創什麼就係創什麼第
he
二。
was explaining to the patient what the treatment process is going to be.
講啊，急腳咧，伊手搭到伊嘅手度，甲你講，你創緊呢度，創緊呢，就創緊呢。
And so he was touching the patient's shoulder, and he was telling him what needs to be done.
叫這個 translator 去 translate。
And he was asking the translator to translate it.
忽然間，這個破病人，這個麻風病人流目屎流未停。
Suddenly, this leper was shedding his tears and he was crying profusely.
Dr. Paul 就問這個 translator：
And Dr. Paul Brand asked the translator,
嗰時唔是錯唔到題字啊，
"Did I do anything wrong?
跟係喊啊！
Why is he crying?"
佢講 no nothing。
He said, "No, nothing."
伊喊，
He cried.
因為伊講你是頭一個人 touch 伊嘅人。
He's crying because he said that you're the first person who has ever touched him. It
伊講當伊對到 leprosy 嘅時陣，
says when he was diagnosed with leprosy,
啲規律裏面唔捌有一個人嘅 touch 到伊。
for a number of years, no one dared to touch him.
And you are the first one to
You're
touch
the
him。
first one to touch him.
人需要經驗到別人對我嘅疼。
People need to be able to experience the love from other people.
Evangeline Booth 這個是 William Pope 嘅查某囝。
Evangeline Booth, the daughter of William Booth.
William Booth 是Salvation Army 嘅創辦人。
William Booth is the founder of Salvation Army.
Evangeline 是個真正聽主、真正有報道心志嘅人嚟。
Evangeline was a person who loved the Lord very much, and he had this heart for missions.
有一擺伊哋這個 Scotland area 裏面去做工，
One time he was doing some work in the poorer community,
甲這個真暗淡、這個好令人水嘅傷口。
and he was washing the wounds of a woman who was very dirty.
忽然間，伊一個朋友經過看到，
Suddenly, there was a friend of hers who passed by and saw what she was doing.
呢個 Evangeline 講一句話，
And a friend said to Evangeline,
你講這款係工作啊，你又講1 million，我冇乜創啊。
"Even if you give me $1 million, I won't be doing such kind of a work."
Evangeline 甲佢講 yes，
Evangeline responded, saying yes.
我也是同款。
Likewise with me.
嗱，為到1 million，我是冇乜創這樣代
If
志
it's。for the sake of $1 million, I won't be doing this.
但是我最這樣代志是為咗 love Jesus，
But I'm doing this because I love Jesus.
叫出幫助人。
May God help us.
聖靈嘅果子有9款嘅味素。
There are 9 flavors of the fruit of the Spirit.
Number 1
Number 1,
is love。
it's
咱嘅
love.
生命中間，好人披着咱有聽嘅味素喺裏面。
So that people may smell the fragrance of Jesus in our lives.
Number 2，
Number 2,
第二款嘅味素
the second flavor
叫做喜樂 joy。
is joy.
joy 是第二款嘅味素。
Joy is the second flavor.
你記得
Remember,
joy 及 happiness 喺本質上是無相嘅物件。
joy and happiness are different in nature.
happy 什麼叫做 happy？什麼叫 happiness？happy
What is happiness? What is being happy?
係咪叫做快樂？
Happy in Chinese is 快樂.
所以有人講快樂就是快樂，快樂，
So-
快樂。
So some people say in Chinese that it's 快樂. It translated. There's another word that says it goes down very quickly.
快樂
Goes down very quickly.
漸經就無叫做快樂。
It descends very quickly. That's what happiness is.
快樂是戰爭問題啲，
Happiness is very short
因為快樂及話講嘅環境有關係，
because happiness has got something to do with external
及你嘅
circumstances.
心情有關係。
It's got something to do with your
今
emotions.
日環境真順利，
And if today everything goes well with you,
哇，股票大起，
stock prices rose,
快樂。
then you are happy.
今日心情真歡喜，
Today you feel very happy,
真快
so
樂。
you're so happy.
啊，你股票落咧，
What if the stock's prices go down?
真快樂。
Then your emotions go down
冇
as
啲
well.
mood 呢，
What if you're not in the mood?
生氣呢，
What if you're angry?
所以你受外交嘅影響。
So you are affected by external
所以
factors.
快樂真做什麼？
So what is happiness like?
快樂真做 roller coaster。
Happiness is like a roller coaster.
佢 真堅起，真堅落，真堅起，真堅落，
goes up quickly, but it descends very quickly as well.
真 emotional。
Your emotion is like a roller coaster.
什麼叫做 happy？happy 呢？這個字，伊個律是 happy 是講是 chance。Happiness chance 這個意思就拉丁文是叫做 luck。
Happiness, the root, it comes from the root word hap, which means chance, and in Latin, chance means luck.
你講到 lucky。
We say lucky.
哇，真好氣咯！
Like a person is very lucky,
所以真歡喜。
so he's so happy.
那冇 lucky 咧，
What if the person is not lucky?
真艱苦咯。
He is very
所以
sorrowful.
講你快樂是真正受環境嘅影響。
So this kind of a happiness is very much affected by external
但係
factors.
joy 唔是啊
But joy isn't like that.
，joy 是你內心嘅代志。
Joy is something that pertains to what is within the heart.
joy 的確是及上帝嘅生命有關係嘅代志。
Joy has got something to do with the life of God.
咱係以上帝就係最咱嘅喜樂叫做 joy。
If God is our joy, that is our joy.
你看哈巴谷書講一句話，
Look at what Habakkuk says.
你看雖然無花果樹無發旺，葡萄樹無結果子，橄欖樹無效力，田地無出苗隻，圈內作了妖，棚內無谷。
Though the fig tree does not bud, and there are no grapes on the vines, though the olive crop fails, and the fields produce no food, though there are no sheep in the pen and no cattle in the stalls,
無發旺、無結果、無效力、無苗隻、無妖、無谷，但啷無。
does not bud, no grapes, no olive crop fails, produce no food, no sheep in the pen, no cattle in the stalls, everything,
這個
there's
叫作
nothing.
望嘅環境。
This is an environment we see which is hopeless.
你解講什麼？
You know what he says?
總是我因為耶和華而歡喜，因叫我上帝而喜樂。
Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will be joyful in God my Savior.
以上帝就係最真正喜樂嘅原因，
God is the real reason for his joy.
所以喜樂係一個選擇。
So joy is also a choice.
This is your choice。
This is your choice.
你自己起來係做你歡喜，係做你無歡喜。
When you wake up in the morning, you can be happy or you can be sad.
你做真目的，還是講真正積極、真正攞無去生活。
You can be very moody or you can be very positive in facing
This
life.
is your choice。
This is your choice.
所以你係要求嘅時陣，
So when you are
你唔
sorrowful,
得講別人有我真艱苦心。No。This is your choice。
don't ever blame anybody saying that he's making me sad or sorrowful.
你
No,
嗱
this
要
is our
求
choice.
是你家嘅原因，唔是別人我你要求。
If you're sorrowful, it is your own choice. It is not somebody else who's making it to you.
你看，這個完全無歡喜嘅理由，完全無喜樂嘅理由。
You see, look at this. There's really no reason for him to rejoice or to be
Yes,
happy.
I will rejoice in the Lord. Yes, I will joyful in God my Savior.
Yet he says, I will rejoice in the Lord. I will be joyful in God my Savior.
This is your choice.
This is your choice.
我這個人去餐館食物件，
There was a person who was eating in a restaurant,
伊面前要求，
and he had a very sad, sorrowful
這個
face.
waiter 咁樣真食，
And the waiter knows the person quite well,
你講 Sir，
and he asked him, Sir,
what's problem? What's problem？
what's the problem?
咁你又很受苦啊？
How come you look so sad
你講
today?
你唔知啊啦。
And he said, you just don't know.
2 months ago，
2 months ago,
我 grandpa 離開世界，
my grandpa passed away,
但是留下我20萬美金。
and he left an inheritance of $200,000 US.
你講安尼吧？
And he said,
雖然
that's so.
grandpa 離開世界陣時有呢20萬美金，咪是 OK 啦man。
Though your grandpa passed away, but he left you an inheritance of $200,000 US, that's okay.
You don't understand.
And he said, you don't
1 month
understand.
ago，
1 month ago,
我 uncle 離開世界，
my uncle passed away,
我留我添接10萬美金。
and he left me an inheritance of $100,000 US.
哦，啊你現在你有30萬美
Oh,
金
so now you've got $300,000 US.
，not bad。
That's not bad.
但是問題是安尼，
But here's the problem, he
究
said.
竟啊你我冇這個 uncle 死啊，
Up until today, there's no other uncle who has died yet.
所以我都冇看起啊，
And that is why I am sad.
都冇人死，都冇美金嚟咯。
Because if no one dies, there will be no inheritance forthcoming.
請問
Let me ask
你
you,
喜樂嘅源頭喺度咯？
where lies the source of your joy?
叫上帝幫助你。
May God help us.
耶和華是咱喜樂嘅源頭，
The Lord is the source of our
這
joy.
是聖靈嘅第二款嘅奇蹟，
This is the second kind or second flavor of the fruit of the
第二款嘅
Spirit.
味素。
Second flavor.
頭一個 flavor 係什麼啊
What is the first flavor?
？Love。Number
Love.
two,
Number 2,
joy.
joy.
Number three,
Number 3,
peace.
peace.
叫做和平，叫做平安。
Peace.
這是聖靈嗰幾隻裏面第三款嘅味素。
The third flavor of the fruit of the Spirit.
為什麼咱總是失去平安？
Why is it that we always lose our peace?
為什麼咱心內總是冇平靜？
Why is it that there's no tranquility in our hearts?
因為咱常常受過去嘅代志所影響，
Because we are always affected by what happened in the
特
past,
別過去無好嘅代志，
especially the unhappy events of the past.
特別受到過去嘅代志，心內就無歡喜，我話無歡喜，心內就無平靜。
For every time you think of the events of the past, then you feel unhappy. If you feel unhappy, you lose the peace within you.
特別受到過去對你無好嘅人，心內就無歡喜，心內就無平靜。
You always think of the people who didn't treat you well in the past, and as a result, you always lose your peace.
所以你平安睡無去。
So you lose your peace.
Please listen to me.
Listen to this.
The past is not a place for me to long for, but a place for me to learn from. 過去嘅代志永遠無通過改變，但係過去嘅代志是咱學習真正重要嘅功課。
We can never ever change the past, but the past allows us to learn valuable experiences from it.
所以教會，
So church,
咱唔再活喺過去嘅中後邊，過去嘅裏面，
we cannot live in the past,
咱活喺今日啲盼望明日啲
but we live in the present and with hope for the future.
平安，唔是講無困難，
Peace doesn't mean that there is no
主
difficulty.
要所哋大風大浪嘅中間繼續休息，
The Lord Jesus Christ, amidst the wind and the waves, he continued to rest
因為佢心內有真正嘅平安。
because in his heart he had real peace.
呢度人披着呢個平安嘅味素喺你生命中間，
You've got to allow people to smell that you've got the fragrance of peace in your life,
特別喺呢條困難嘅中間，
especially when you are in the midst of a
好
difficulty.
人看到這個人及別人無相
That people may see that this person is different.
，there's something inside。
There's something inside.
平安喺呢個裏面，
Peace is within
因
you
為你將聖靈嘅機制第三款嘅味素畫出嚟。
because you are living out the third flavor of the Spirit in
平
you.
安真大嘅敵人是什麼？
What is the greatest enemy of peace?
叫做掛意 worry。
That is worry.
worry 好人總是慢慢失去真正嘅平安。
Worry makes us lose our peace.
你睇 worry 這個字，早早是對這個 German 這個德國字嚟，
Worry comes from a German word,
這個字叫做什麼？叫讀咧？
Wergen.
就唔知會啱會啱咧？
Wergen.
千差咯，千差咯。
Whatever, however you pronounce it.
這個字嘅意思是什麼呢？是叫做掙扎，另外沒頭盔。
The meaning of this word is to struggle or to be suffocated.
所以 worry 就是好這個人喺掙扎嘅中間，嗰陣時間完全無通呼吸。
So worry makes a person struggle to the point of being suffocated.
喺這個情況裏面，只有可能有真正嘅平安。
And under such kind of a circumstance, how can a person experience peace?
為什麼人真夠掛意？
Why do people worry a lot?
掛意是咱心性軟弱嘅記號，
Worry is a sign of the weakness of our faith.
就是咱未相信上帝及上帝嘅工作。
That is, we don't believe we don't believe or trust God and His work,
因為上帝為是安尼講，
because this is what God's word says.
上帝叫萬事互相效力，愛聽神嘅人得到益處。
God makes all things work together for the good of those who love God.
每一件代志發生，
Everything that happens
都有上帝嘅 purpose 喺裏面。
behind everything that happens has God's
You
purpose
work all together，
for all things work together,
可能拿來拿親像上帝嘅款式，
so that we may become more and more like the Son of God.
無論是好代志、歹代志，
So whether it be something that's good or bad,
佢嘅 purpose，
His purpose
好每一個人 more like Christ。
is to conform us into the image of Christ.
你若相信這樣代
And
志，
if you believe this,
你就平安，
then you will experience
因為你
peace
知啊，
because you know
上帝掌管這項代志。
that God is in control of this situation.
有一個人真夠關意
There was a person who was a chronic worrier,
up to a standard，因為困跌，
up to a point that he isn't able to fall asleep at night.
佢哋跌，行來行去，行來行去，
He would be pacing back and forth.
影響別人，影響家己。
And so he's starting to affect others,
但
other
有一日，
himself.
有一日，
Then one day,
忽然間好起來咯，
suddenly he was well.
真歡喜，
He was so happy.
行路個超歌，
And he was even singing while he was
我
walking.
半都也歡喜。
He was even whistling.
耶，出邊問你，
The neighbor asked
喂
him,
你冇關意啦嘛？
what happened to you? You're not worrying
你我
anymore?
好咯誒，
He said, I'm well.
你真係好啊！
How did you
哎
get
呀
well?
我斜一個叫做 professional 職業嘅要路者，
He said, I found a professional worrier.
伊係將我攞咗個掛衣打起來啊！
He carries all my worries.
我你啊，
Is that so?
羅子啊，
How much did you pay him?
10,000美金啊！
10,000 USD. He
哇，你
said,
驚我加一把啦？
can you afford to pay him?
伊掛衣咯，唔是嗰個大字咯。
Well, he said, that's his worry, that's his problem, no longer mine.
當然世界冇一個叫做 professional worrier，冇按講嚟
Of
諗
course,
嘅啦，
there is no such kind of a person, a professional worrier.
冇人能將你面對打起嚟。
No one is able to carry your
Hey.
problems for you.
但是，
But
我忽然間發現一樣大字
I，suddenly discovered something.
原來上帝打起嚟
I
啊！
see that God is able to carry our worries.
將你這掛衣交給上帝，因為伊顧念你。
Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for
你
you.
唔係為咗錢
It's not for the sake of money,
，because he cares for you, he loves you。
rather because He cares for you, He loves you.
教會啊，教會啊，
Church,
咱將你嘅掛衣交給上帝，
let's entrust our worries to the Lord
好人看到
so that people may see
你有上帝平安喺你嘅裏面。
that you have the peace of God within
這
you.
第三款嘅味素，
This is the third flavor.
第四款嘅味
The
素
fourth flavor
叫做吞忍忍耐。
is patience.
Patience 是聖靈第四款嘅味素，
Patience is the fourth flavor of the fruit of the Spirit.
吞忍嘅相反就是教發受氣、
The opposite of patience is being hot-tempered.
教埋怨。
You are a chronic complainer.
這個人嗱真教發受氣，真教埋怨，
If a person is very hot-tempered and is always complaining,
伊係真教吸引人去看伊。
and it's going to be quite easy for him to attract attention.
But
But
eventually，這個人離開伊。
eventually, people are going to walk out on him.
你愛人無朋友，
If you want to have no friends,
你去發脾氣；
then you go blow your
你
temper.
愛無朋友，
If you want to have no friends,
你去 complain，你去 complain。
then you go on complaining.
我保證到這個時間，你被頭人一個要走。
I can assure you that there will come a point in time that people around you are going to walk out on you.
無人有通及一個真夠手機、真夠唔係話人殺急追一個。
Because no one wants to be in the company of people who are chronic complainers or who are hot-tempered.
所以咱需要學習 patient。
That is why we need to learn patience.
你連冇環境嘅中間，你冇人嘅頭整 learn patient。
Under whatever circumstances and even among whatever kind of company we are, we've got to learn patience.
Of course not easy。
Of course, it's not easy.
有一個人，
There was a
哎呀，
person.
伊對這個世界真失望，
He was very disappointed with the world.
伊決定離開這個世界。
And he decided that he was going to leave the
伊
world.
要去一個叫做修道院裏面去徛。
He decided he was going to live in a monastery.
這個 monastery 就是個外國人完全隔絕家己徛這個所在。
For people who live in the monastery are completely isolated from the rest of the world.
伊問這個義丟，
And he asked the principal
伊
of
講
the
我這裡
monastery,
徛喺這個所在。
and he asked him, can I stay in this
伊
place?
講 yes，
And he said, yes,
no problem。
no problem.
但是有一個條件，
There's only one condition.
喺這所在嘅人啊，
People who live in this place
未追講話，
cannot speak, cannot say a
一
word,
句話都未追講。
not even say a word.
一年只係追講兩個字
And in 1 year, you can only speak 2 words.
，two word。
2 words only.
OK 冇
Is that okay with you?
？OK。
And he said, okay.
所以徛只
So
一
he
年。
stayed in that place for a year.
After 1 year，
After 1 year,
principal 叫佢嚟。
principal called him.
OK，now 你係即係講兩個字。
Now you can say 2 words.
After 1 year，
After 1
你
year,
講兩個字，
he said 2 words.
什麼字咧？
What did he say?
長也對。
Bed hard.
OK，OK。
And he left.
國徛一年
Stayed for another year.
，another year，
Another year.
你過嚟。
Came back again.
OK，now you can speak two word。
Now you can speak 2 words.
咩話咧
What did he say?
？How close？
House cold.
屋真冰。
House is too cold.
OK，OK，OK，OK。
And he left.
第三年
The 3rd year
過嚟
came back.
，now can speak another two words.
Now I allow you to speak another 2 words.
Food poor.
Food poor.
崩差。
Food is so poor.
第4年過嚟
The 4th year he came back.
，I can speak two words.
Now you can speak 2 words.
What word?
What word did he say?
You guess, you guess.
You can guess.
I quit.
I quit.
冇容易啊，冇容易。
It's not easy.
冇容易啊。
It's not easy.
吞論啊就很簡單咯。
Patience is not that easy.
It's not easy。
Not easy.
但係叫上嚟幫襯人。
But may God help us.
什麼叫吞論呢？
What is patience?
有人講得真好。
Somebody said it very
你
well.
講吞論是你有多力嘅踏這個搖門嘅時陣，你命令你自己踏這個 brake 剎車這個能力。
Patience is when you want to step on the accelerator vigorously, yet you tell yourself to step on the brakes.
本來你真生氣，
Originally, you are
你
so
俾踏
angry.
gas 俾衝擊
You
佢
want to step on the gas.
你自己 control 自己講 brake，
But you control yourself. Instead, you said step on the brakes.
呢叫做 patient。
That is what patience is.
patient 唔是講未生氣，
Patience doesn't mean that you don't get
Sometimes-
angry.
sometimes-
Sometimes,
嗱冇生氣嗰時唔對我哋。
sometimes there are situations in which it is wrong for you not to be angry.
當然正教生氣的確唔對，
But of course, a person who's hot-tempered, who's always hot-tempered, that is also
但係
wrong.
應該生氣，嗱冇生氣都冇都是對。
But whenever you need to get angry and then you don't get angry, may not necessarily be right.
有時咱冇生氣是將種嘅生氣，將嘅潮歌放喺心內，放喺心內，放喺心內，放喺心內。
Sometimes we don't get angry, but we hide all the sorrows, the anger within us.
忽然間起石拼起嚟，
Suddenly, it's going to explode.
嗰個大題字。
That's going to turn out to be a bigger disaster.
patient 唔係是話溝表達得戰爭溫柔，
Patience is not only showing a gentleness on the outside,
是內心戰爭嘅平靜。
but rather on the inside we experience peace.
無論信有人話溝，咱就戰爭溫柔，
There are some people who seem to be very gentle on the
可
outside,
能內心是另外 another story。
but perhaps what's inside isn't another story.
我這個丈夫
There was a husband.
真 hot temper，
He was very hot-tempered.
真夠生氣，
He was always angry.
特別生氣也冇，特別發也
He was
冇。
always angry at the wife, shouting, screaming at the
但
wife.
是近朝是千萬大怪，
Yet the wife was very kind.
吞論
Wife was very
唔
patient.
不應接拜。
Never answered back.
伊若講什麼吞論，
Whatever he said, she would just be patient.
但係只創一項代志。
But there's only one thing that she would do.
每一擺近朝人未了咧，伊就去水廁所。
After every time that the husband would be angry at her or shouted at her, she would go to the toilet and wash the bathroom.
很怪嘅冇，你講咪？
Such a good wife.
後來呢個近朝呢個丈夫聽牧師講到認罪悔改，
But there was a time when the husband, after hearing the pastor's message, repented of his
呢
sin.
個咩冇講？
And he said to the wife,
對今日開始，
from today on,
我 promise，
I promise
我冇講發你，
I would no longer scream
我
at
冇講
you.
讓你
I would no longer shout at you.
，I try to love you。
I will try to love you.
哦，呢個近朝受感動，
The wife was very moved.
你講 good，
She said, good.
安尼我也是跟你講這項代志。
Now let me tell you something
對
also.
打以後，
From today on,
我冇不用呢個 toothbrush 去洗廁所。
I won't be using your toothbrush to wash the toilet anymore.
所以丈夫啊，你唔能夠你太太還嘅，
So husband, don't quarrel with your wife.
你食什麼你自己都唔知啊，
You don't even know what you're eating.
你家己還嘅，
And you dare quarrel with your wife?
你用什麼 toothbrush toothpaste 你都唔知。
You don't even know what kind of toothbrush or toothpaste you're
哇！
using.
但係呢個波話夠真吞論，
But the wife on the outside seems like she was really bearing up
原來
quite well
內心
with
是
the
真厲害，
husband.
死啦死啦死啦
But on the inside, she was actually, she wanted the husband dead.
！Patient
Patience.
是第四款嘅味素，
The fourth flavor
Number
of
five.
spirit. Number
叫
five.
做溫柔 kindness。
Number 5 is kindness.
kindness。
Kindness.
Number one 什麼幾字啊？
What is number 1?
什麼 favor？love。
Love.
Number two
Joy.
joy。Number three
Peace.
number four
Patience.
patient。very good。Number five
Kindness.
kindness。什麼叫 kindness？
What is kindness?
別人對你唔好，你吞論。
Kindness is even when people don't treat you well, you are patient with the person.
你冇 fight back，
You
吞
won't
論。
fight back.
什麼叫 kindness？
What is kindness?
可能是無論別人對你怎好，你唔能是吞論，你對佢好。
Kindness is being kind to a person no matter how he treats you.
好，我進一步，
You take one step further.
主嘅門徒需要對別人顯出你嘅 kindness，
The Lord's disciples must show your kindness to others,
特別
especially
對比較傷嘅人，
especially to those who are poorer,
特別比較無嘅人。
especially to those who have less in life.
上帝留好咱較有，
And if God allows us to have more in
無論
life,
是有錢有權，大行攏有，即係對較無嘅人顯出你嘅 kindness。
whether having more money or more power or more authority, then we should show more kindness to those who have less.
我相信你有工人，
I believe that you have employees.
你出來有鬥沙工嘅爺爺，
I believe you have households at home.
請你對你嘅工人大家較好淡薄。
Please treat the people, those your households, a little better.
拜節，你若不請假，你可以出去。
On Sundays, if they want to take the day off, you allow them to take the day
伊
off
唔是你嘅 slave，
because they are not your slaves.
伊唔應該最7日無休息。
They shouldn't be working for 7 days a week with no rest.
聖經按你講，
For this is what the Bible
最近
says.
6日第7日就休息，
Work for 6 days. On the 7th day,
唔
you
通
must
好你
rest.
嘅工人7日最高7日。
Do not let your workers work for 7 days a week.
香港政府規定，佢哋邊嘅工人去香港只追6日，未追7日。
In Hong Kong, the law says that the overseas Filipino workers can only work for 6 days a week, not 7 days.
This law，
For that is the law.
你唔通看工人追死。No， you are wrong。
Do not let our workers work to no end, no rest.
你若最工就有13 month，
If you are an employee and you have 13-month
你
pay,
嘅工人應該有13 month，
your workers need to have a 13-month as
你嘅
well.
爺爺應該有13 month。
Your household help need to have 13-month pay as
你唔
well.
通欠伊嘅字，
You shouldn't shortchange them.
因為聖經成日你教導咱
For
你。
this is what the Bible teaches us.
你講你做主人嘅人，我款待別人上款，唔當威嚇人，因為你知呀，恁及恁上是為主主的鐵定，因為上帝是會騙大人嘅哦。
Masters, treat your slaves in the same way. Do not threaten them. Do not threaten them, since you know that he who is both their master and yours is in heaven, and there is no favoritism with him.
我做一個簡單嘅見證，
Let me share a simple testimony,
應有好上帝。
and I give all the glory to God.
我係工人16日喺我出嚟作事，
My household help started working in my home at 16 years of
但係
age.
做咗3年以後，
After working for 3 years,
你講而家去讀冊，
she said she wanted to continue on with her
我去
studies.
讀冊，
So I let her
我 support
study.
你。
I supported her.
所以只追半年，
So she worked only for half day.
但是我可以 full payment，
But I gave her full
我
payment
support 佢讀冊，
and supported her studies
讀到伊畢業。
until she graduated.
伊工人對我出嚟，我無看伊是工人，是我出嚟一個人呢。
And I treated her just like a member of my family.
我真討厭一個嘅頭家，另外每餐有工人食 ，it's wrong。
I really hate those masters who buy different kinds of food for their workers.
你食什麼，伊食什麼。
So whatever you eat, that should be what they would be eating as
你
well.
是人，伊也是人。
You are a human being, they are human beings as well.
我做幾年以後，
After a few more years,
伊要 control，
she wanted to get married.
伊睇嚟找我，
She came to see me.
伊講我係拜你最虧白。
Can I have you as my sponsor, a wedding
Yes,
sponsor?
why not？
I said, why not?
所以我最虧白。
So I became her
你最
sponsor.
冇哋我出嚟作事咯，
She's no longer working in my home.
要 baby 咯。
She has a baby of her
你
own.
常常抱 baby 嚟找我，
But she would often bring the baby to see
伊
me,
講
to
我
visit
是
me.
虧眼公。
Said, I am the Grand Ninong. Grand Ninong.
所以最眼公嚟講，
So I am a grandfather now.
對你下屆人好淡薄。
You must treat the people under you a little better.
這個世界是伊嘅，
This world is round.
你記得這個世界是伊嘅。
Remember, this world
今
is
日你
round.
你對別人好，別人
Today-
下擺別人對你好。
Today you treat others well. Perhaps tomorrow
Oh.
somebody else will treat
今
you
日
well.
你對別人無好，明日你覺得別人又對你無好。
But today, if you don't treat people well, perhaps tomorrow people are not going to treat you well.
你看這個 video，
Look at this video.